In the life of any congregation, there are many clergy people and lay people who serve as staff members among us. Some are living out their call to ministry. Some are choosing to share their gifts and their training with the church and the community. Middletown United Methodist Church is fortunate. We're fortunate to have leaders who've been willing to go the distance with us, because it's rare, you may not know this, but it is very rare for full-time staff, and especially rare for part-time staff, to remain in one church for more than a few years. So as we begin this new ministry year together, we have the privilege of celebrating several people who have reached or even surpassed their 10-year anniversary as part of the Middletown United Methodist Church staff. In 1995, Jim Allison was hired to mind the store and manage the day-to-day business of the church. This is not always an easy task, particularly when the budget is strained and we experience an uncomfortable financial climate. You might expect the man who crunches the numbers to have a hard time trusting God for a good outcome. This is not so with Jim. He believes in God's faithfulness to us. He trusts God completely. His sometimes gruff exterior is due to the fact that he doesn't always trust us. Just kidding, Jim. When someone consults Jim about spending money, more often than not, Jim's no is not his final answer. He just wants us to think that it is. This seems to be his own little system of psychological checks and balances to manage our cash flow. Seriously, even though Jim works behind the scenes, he becomes as excited as anyone over successes in the mission and ministry of our church. Thank you, Jim, for serving the church and supporting our ministries as the church's business administrator. Vernon Cherricks came to Middletown in 1996, bringing with him a solid talent, superb artistry, and a firm belief that his musical gifts would best be used as an offering to God. Through exquisite offertories and preludes, Vernon has placed his gifts on our worship altar each week, blessing us as the sanctuary fills with the sound of his musical praise. He has accompanied our choirs and soloists and offered glorious recitals with his wife Nancy, always helping us to put our best foot forward, musically speaking. In addition to sharing his talent, Vernon never hesitates to inject his personality into everything he does. He freely shares his emotions, whether through sensitive tears or his favorite term of displeasure, please. We always know where he stands on everything, and we're glad to know where he sits on Sunday mornings at our sanctuary piano. Thank you, Vernon, for your gifts of melody and harmony. In 1998, Susan Smithson brought her well-known energy and enthusiasm to our church staff. Through her leisure and family life ministry, she does more than her share to help us find the life, health, and peace of mind God intended for us. Everything she does is performed with joy, patience, and an openness to God's direction. Susan skillfully juggles the demands of work, family, and being a community leader. She is our church's ambassador to the Middletown neighborhood through her involvement with local schools, through our recreational programs, and through the Louisville Emmaus community. Susan's heart for people has prompted her to strongly support all of the church's ministries, endearing her to everyone. When Susan prays, "Lord, remember me," the Lord says, "How could I forget?" Susan, we thank you today for all your hard work and for your Christ-filled life among us. Dan Benjamin has been our organist since the year 2000. Though he has a day job elsewhere, we know that church music is his true calling. He has ministered to us not only during worship services, but also at those moments in life when we mark special passages, such as funerals or weddings. As a volunteer director, Dan has brought our handbell ministry to its greatest level of achievement. He always gives more than expected and does so with a great appreciation for the church and its traditions. Dan is a fierce advocate for the organ as the instrument of the church. As a matter of fact, he thinks it's an appropriate instrument for any style of church music that exists, but we love him anyway. We appreciate your music, Dan, from the wispy flute stops to the rolling thunder of the pedals. Thank you for all the grand moments. Did you know that when we combine the past 5 years with his previous appointment here, Wayne Bishop has surpassed 10 years of ministry with us? He has been our pastor since 1990. Even though he spent some time away at another church and in the district office, we know that he always wished to be here. He tells us that we are his favorites, and you can believe that. Wayne is a builder of buildings. His leadership put us in our current facility. Wayne is a builder of staff. He tells them to take authority over their ministry areas, and when he says to do that, you can believe he means it. We are delighted that Wayne's renewed enthusiasm for ministry has led him into the world to minister to local firefighters, to help the children at the lighthouse, to constantly tell us to go and do likewise. We are grateful for this example he gives us for ministry in the community. Wayne is authentic and so genuine in his work among us. Yes, you can believe everything from him except these words at the end of the sermon. In conclusion, Wayne, don't conclude your ministry here anytime soon. Thank you for being the shepherd of this flock for all these years. I'd like to ask those 5 staff members to come forward, and as they come forward, Daryl Whitmer, our chairperson of Staff Parish Committee, has a presentation to make to them.
While they're coming, I'll tell just a short story on Wayne here. About a month ago, Wayne solicited me to his office and told me about this easy job that he wanted me to do. And I graciously, I guess I'd say, I accepted the job that Monday morning, and then a week later, April Jackson resigns. And the next time I see Wayne, and I said, "And you said this job was easy, huh?" But at any rate, I'm happy to serve here in God's name, and I also there's a couple here I guess we don't have here today, but I think maybe see who we are missing. We're all here. We have them all here. Okay, at any rate, last week we were able to hire Amy Bishop as director of our children's ministries, and we're very happy with that decision. So with that decision, give the church applause if you would. I have a presentation here, a monetary presentation that came from the entire congregation on behalf of each of these 5 people that have all been with us for 10 years or more, and we are blessed to have that. Karen and I, in our travels throughout the year, have been in many belong to other churches, and I tell you what, we feel blessed to have the staff that we have. Dale, we hope to have you 10 years here someday, and I think Nancy, we've already celebrated some time back. So with that, I have a monetary gift here for each of these persons, and with that, let's give all these people a hand for the service they give our church.